Hey friends, we're so glad you are here with us today. Today we are going to be reading one of Jesus' miracles, the feeding of the 5,000. Now, this is the only miracle that is in all four of the Gospels. Now, Lectionary is going to be reading the Matthew passage, but because we are going to be reading out of Growing in God's Love, a story Bible, we will be reading the passage from John because it has a poem, and I wonder if you can hear the rhyming in it. Let's read together. Word had spread all across the lands of Jesus and his loving hands. He cured the sick, he healed the blind, to friends and strangers he was kind. The people gathered one by one to see the things Jesus had done. To every place he would go, the people followed high and low. He crossed the Sea of Galilee, went up a mountain through the trees. Then Jesus came to sit and rest among his friends he knew the best. But even all the way up here, the crowd had followed oh so near, to listen to the words he'd say, to watch him heal, to hear him pray. When he saw the large gathered crowd, Jesus asked this question aloud. They've walked for miles on their feet. Where can we buy them bread to eat? He said this with a little smile, for Jesus planned it all the while. Just exactly what he would do, but wondered if his friends knew too. Now Philip, who was close at hand, did not know what Jesus planned, for this was not a crowd of tens, this was 5,000 citizens. To earn the money we would need to buy the bread enough to feed all these people gathered here would take us more than half a year. Andrew spoke up then and said, Here's a boy who has some bread, 5 loaves, 2 fish, it's all good stuff, but surely this is not enough. They all sat down on the ground. Is there enough to go around? 5,000 people sitting there, somehow they had enough to share. Once everyone was satisfied, Jesus walked through the crowd and cried, So that not one crumb may be lost, gather up what you would have tossed. The scraps from 5 small barley loaves now made 12 baskets overflow. What wasn't enough for them before had somehow turned into so much more. When people saw what he had done, they shouted, Surely he's the one. Jesus is the prophet, he who has come to make all things anew. Jesus didn't want attention. He realized their intention to force him to become their king who would rule all over everything. Instead of sitting on a throne, Jesus chose to be alone. He did not boast, he did not speak. Alone he climbed the mountain's peak. I wonder, what do you think of this story? Imagine sharing a meal with many friends. What sorts of noises do you hear? What do you say when you pass the food around the table? Imagine having 1 loaf of bread, and suddenly there are 5 loaves. Then there are 10 loaves. What would it look like to see more and more food appear? How would you feel? When are there times you like to be alone? And when are there times you like to be around lots of people? Thank you for listening to our story together. Let's say a quick prayer. Dear God, thank you for this story that you've given us. Help us to see the abundance around us instead of only seeing what is exactly in front of us. Help us to be imaginative and to see your love through all places. Help us to be welcoming and to invite everyone to your table. We love you so much. Amen. Thanks, friends. It's been fun. Bye.